Hey guys, thanks for joining me for Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm going to take a look at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Adventure Tactics. This is a new one by Lemon Games. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly a half an hour to 2 hours to play, and it is a fully cooperative game, so all the players are going to be working together to defeat the game itself. So in the game, each player is going to be playing a hero that is thrust into this epic adventure where they're going to have to make difficult decisions about which paths they're going to go on or which enemies they're going to try to pursue, in hopes that they're going to make it to the end of that campaign where they're going to face off against the evil sorceress herself that is trying to take over the land. Now, along the way, the characters are going to slowly upgrade their classes and have to make all kinds of different decisions about that, as well as the players have tons of different options. They can stay within their own class, so they can move over to other basic classes, and then make those combinations into elite classes, which will lead them into all kinds of different paths along the way. And then they're also going to gain new passive abilities, new dice abilities, and new items, weapons and armor and accessories that they're going to add to tailor their players, which is almost kind of like a deck building element, as they will slowly build up their deck as well with these new skills that the classes will grant them, tailoring and making their deck very unique as well. So some really interesting combinations within this game. So my thoughts on this one, this is one I've been looking for quite some time. I've been following it on Facebook and have really looked forward to trying this one out. I had a chance to talk with the designers at Origins this year and really was looking forward to hoping to do some video work for them. So this one is one that I would definitely recommend if you're into role-playing games, adventure games, dungeon crawling games, and your group is into cooperative games. This is definitely one that I would recommend, especially if you like the theme in that. This one really hit it for me, and I cannot wait to add this one to my collection. I love the customization that you have within the characters, as each character starts off with a class, whether it's a fighter, a cleric, a rogue, wizard, or archer, and then you can branch off into other basic classes to get combinations that will let you unlock the elite classes for those the characters, such as with the fighter, you can unlock the paladin or dark knight or beast hunter or all kinds of different things. Some really cool combinations. And then also, like I said, you'll be able to unlock different weapons and armor and accessories, passive abilities and dice abilities and all kinds of different things to really make your character unique through the campaign, and from campaign to campaign as well, as you can replay the campaign and try different combinations and different characters to see how things have changed. Now, each campaign is also going to provide you with a lot of different decisions, as it has like a choose-your-own-adventure story arc where, depending upon if you're successful or really successful, which paths you want to go on from there, which is really cool and exciting. And each encounter that I've played so far is very unique in its own right and will provide unique enemies and different elements that are only in that particular encounter. So some really interesting ideas that they've had with this game. For those of you that are older like me that may have remembered Final Fantasy Tactics, this one definitely brings that into play, and I've been really looking forward to somebody trying to tackle that for a while, as that was one of my favorite games back in the day, and this one definitely hits that for me perfectly. They did a really good job balancing everything out and really providing a great experience with this one. So like I said, this is one I would definitely recommend if you're into those types of games. And of course, these are just my opinions. I'd love to hear you guys in the comments below as well. Let me know what you guys think of this one. If this is one that you're interested in backing as well, I'd love to start a conversation with you. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that this is just a prototype. Some of the art has already been changed and upgraded, so just keep that in mind as you watch the video, that all of these things are prototypes and are subject to change and will look a lot better with the production, such as the heroes themselves are just little standees with this, but you're actually going to get miniatures from the production as well. So some really interesting changes that they're going to make once the production is done, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So as always, if you enjoy these videos, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to my channel, as it really does help me to continue to grow and be able to bring these games to you guys. And if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider ringing the bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. I'm also going to have a link up in the top corner that will provide you with another video for Adventure Tactics if you'd like to see the game in action. I'm going to play through the first, middle, and end couple rounds to show you guys how the first encounter plays. Now, there is going to be some spoilers because I am going to cover a lot of the stuff in the first encounter, so if you don't want to spoil anything, you may want to pass on that one or only watch a little bit of it. But I will have the link up in the top corner for you if you'd like to check that out as well. So let's head to the table and I'll show you what this is all about. In Adventure Tactics, there are 5 basic classes that you'll start out as, which are the Archer, Cleric, Fighter, Rogue, and Wizard. Each of these classes will have a card that will tell you what class you are, and will have a starting stat card which will list starter on it. Each of the player cards is going to list the type of attack that they will perform and the dice that are needed, the range of that attack, and their movement value. And then their starter card is going to list the level of that class, as well as the class feature card you'll receive, any passive cards you'll receive, and then your starting cards on top of your basic cards. Moving over to the characters, each character is going to have their own dashboard, which will have the name of that character in the bottom corner. Then each character is also going to receive their class card from one of the 5 basic classes that they've chosen. So with Roberta here, she's going to be a fighter, and she'll also receive her level 1 fighter card. And this is going to outline her health, any additional cards she gets for her class feature, and passives, and any other starting cards for her deck. So with that, it's going to tell us that we receive the toughness passive, which is going to give us +3 to our HP. And throughout the encounters, as the players are successful, they'll be able to gain additional passives from the passive deck. And there's a whole slew of passives as well. So lots of customization there. Then she's also going to receive her class skill, which is Shake It Off, which as she levels up, she will have an opportunity to gain different cards as well for that. Then we'll go ahead and set her HP. So she is at 10, 3 from her tough, and 7 from that. So a total of 10 there. And then finally, it's going to list all the other cards that we receive for her class. So we'll have 2 charges, 1 basic, and 2 rock toss cards. On top of that, each character is also going to start with 3 basic moves and 3 basic attack cards for their starting deck of cards. Now, from here, I want to go into more detail about the characters. So one of the coolest aspects to this game is the amount of customization for your characters and how they grow through encounters. So at the end of each encounter, your characters will level up potentially based on the encounter and how you do in it, which will gain them, like I said, new passives, new dice abilities sometimes, which there's a ton of different dice cards as well, which will give you rerolls or modifications or additional bonuses or skills to your dice rolls. And then finally, on the top here, we have the weapons, armor, and accessories that your character will have equipped throughout the encounters as well. And they'll acquire these either from shops or from enemies and whatnot. They're random, and the players will decide how they're divvied out. The other really cool feature is the way that your characters are going to level up. So some of the scenarios, as you complete them in the encounters, will allow your characters to level up, which at that point in your character can choose either to continue on with their branch that they've chosen, so such as our fighter, or we can go into one of the other 5 branches from that as well. So our fighter can diversify going into the cleric or an archer or whatnot. And so first off, let's cover that. With the fighter, let's say that she chooses to go level 2, it's going to give her additional hit points and new cards that'll be added to her deck. If she continues from there, again, she's going to get more hit points, she's going to gain a new passive, and she'll get to replace 2 of her cards in her deck with taunt cards. Moving on to level 4, again, more hit points and a new card. And finally at level 5, additional hit points and a new passive for that. Now there is a limit, obviously, each class goes up to level 5. And from there, as you gain different classes, so let's say for example that she was a level 3 fighter and then she chose to branch off into a cleric. After that, when she gains another level, she could choose to branch into an elite class, which each elite class is only one player can go into, so you definitely want to work together as a team to tell your players which classes you're looking to go into. Otherwise, you're going to get into a situation where you may be leveling up your character the same as somebody else, and then all of a sudden both of you want to be the same class. So for example, we could move into a paladin then, or a dark knight if we want to go in that route, or a beast trainer. So there's a lot of different options. And then once you go into an elite class, then you'll also have levels of that as well, which will help your character grow. So like I said, lots of different options for your characters, and one of the coolest aspects of this game. And then finally, each character is also going to have their mini, which in the real production game, each hero will have their own mini, where in this is a prototype, we'll have just the little standees. In Adventure Tactics, this is a campaign game, so you're going to be playing through encounters. And I don't want to reveal too much, but let's take a look at the very first encounter, Guard the Gate. So with each encounter, it's going to list a main objective that you need to resolve, and then there's also going to be bonus objectives that if you're able to, you can try to accomplish those, and if you're able to accomplish those and the main objective, then you'll do even better with the rewards section. Each encounter is also going to show you the map and how to lay it out, where the heroes are going to start, and the different enemies and their locations as well, including additional setup instructions, and then all the different stats for your enemies and bosses that you're going to be facing for that encounter. Then it also is going to scale, so based on the number of players, the number of heroes that are playing, you'll set up according to that. So with a 3-hero game, you're going to use these figures, and with a 4 or 5-hero game, you're going to use all of the figures included. And then there's also going to be other effects that are going to happen throughout the round, any different abilities or special effects that the boss has, and other different things that'll bring on enemies later in the round. Now, each enemy is going to list a boss deck that they're going to use as well. So with this encounter, we're going to be using the Rugby deck, and this is a 10-card deck that is going to instruct you how to play the boss or the different enemy types. And the game itself is going to be controlled with an initiative deck, which each round you're going to shuffle this up, and then you'll reveal the cards in order across. Now, this will activate each character and each boss throughout the encounter. And with the boss cards, you're going to have 2 of those in the initiative deck, unless the encounter says otherwise, which some encounters may actually include a 3rd. Each time a boss card comes up, then you'll reveal the top boss card and resolve its effects. With this one, it says the minions are on the move, and it's going to activate the different minion groups that are on the field and tell you how to move them and what to do with them, such as doing basic attacks and whatnot. Once the card is resolved, it'll be discarded, and the next time a boss encounter comes up, you'll reveal and resolve the next card in that set. Now, once you're able to accomplish the objectives of the mission, then you would flip the page over to the revealed side, and that will tell you, based on how successful you were, or if you were not successful, what happens next. All missions will have different branching story arcs, so depending upon if you're successful, it may tell you to make a choice, whether to go to this encounter or that encounter. So lots of different ways to play and different choices for the players to make, which is really exciting, and I can't wait to dig into this more. Moving over to the game itself, I went ahead and set up the first scenario, and I'm going to take you through a round just to show you how a round goes and the different steps you're going to follow in a round. So at this point, the players are going to start off the round by drawing a number of cards up to their maximum hand size. At the start of the game, the maximum hand size for the players is 4, so each of our players will draw 4 cards from their decks. Now that our players are done with that step, then we're moving to step 2, which is the initiative track. So at the start of the game, you're going to place a number of boss cards in there. With our game, it'll be 2, and then 1 of each of the characters will be in there as well to do their initiative. From there, you can go ahead and shuffle that up and then deal it out across to show the activation order of the players and the enemies. So we have a boss card starting first and then moving through. And so the third step is going to be following that initiative track in order based on the cards that have come up, and then the players and the enemies will activate. With us having a boss card first, we'll reveal the first card in the boss deck. And this one is a smash and grab. So if Rugby starts his turn adjacent to a player, he's going to use his smash. Otherwise, he's going to move to the closest character and make a basic attack. So his basic move is 4, so he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he is out of range of the characters, so he cannot perform that. The next is that the gang members are going to move to the closest character and make basic attacks. So again, their movement is 4. And they are out of range as well. And then finally, the archers will make a basic attack if a player is in range, which they are not. Otherwise, they are going to move towards the closest player. And that card has been resolved. From there, then we'll move on to the next one. So Roberta is going to be our next player to go. And so she is going to be able to do 2 cards during her turn. So she can choose the cards to do. So let's go ahead and start off by doing a basic move. That'll move her 4 spaces, or up to 4. 3. And we'll go there. Then we can make a basic attack. So we'll go ahead and do that. And her basic attack, she's going to use a red die, and she'll go ahead and give that a roll. So she does 4 points of damage to our gang member there. So we'll go ahead and put out 4 health there, as our guys there have 8 hit points. Her turn is done, so we would move on to the next player to go. So our archer's going to go. And with that one, They have a range of 2 to 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have plenty of range to our enemy, so we can just do a basic attack. So we'll go ahead and do that. And with our archer, she's going to use the black die, so we'll give that a roll. And only does 1 damage. So she's going to go ahead and do that again. She'll do another basic attack and see if we can do a little better this time. And 2 more points of damage, so our enemy has almost been eliminated. So we'll just flip over one of those. And then we're at 7. So 1 more point and our enemy will be eliminated. From there, then we would go and draw another card for our boss. So this is minions on the move. So gang members are going to move to the closest character and make a basic attack. He is already up next to our fighter, so he's going to go ahead and roll his basic. And does 1 damage to our fighter, so we'll knock her down to 9 hit points. Then the gang archers are also going to make a ranged attack, so they are in range of her now, and they'll use the whites as well, and another point, so our player is down to 8 hit points. That'll finish off that card, so then we have the cleric to go. So with her, let's see what she's got. She's got some basic moves and attacks, so we'll do a basic move. Her movement is 3, so she's going to move 1, 2, 3. And her basic attack. Let's go ahead and perform that. It has a range of 3, so 1, 2, 3. And it is a white die. 2 points of damage on Rugby. From there, then the turn is over, and so the 4th step is cleanup, so the players will resolve any effects or conditions will be removed. The players are allowed to discard 1 card from the cards that they have available to be able to draw more next round. From there, then we would just go ahead and start the next round again with the players drawing their hands and then redoing the initiative order. So each round that is going to be dealt out. And this will continue until the players have met one of the conditions that will end the scenario. Well, I hope you guys found that video helpful in deciding whether or not you want to back this project. Like I said, I would highly recommend it. I had a really good time with the game and definitely looking forward to adding it to my collection. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure they would love to hear from you guys. And as always, if you enjoy these videos, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel, as it really does make a big difference, helps me to continue to grow and be able to bring these videos to you guys. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.